All right, so we're looking at Unbound technologies. What is the first thing you're gonna show me?
So the first thing I'm going to show you is how a marketer can go ahead and take a house list, an email marketing list,
Yeah.
CRM data, and actually map it in and find all of their social profiles, and that's what we're going to show you.
Okay, let's see.
So the first thing you do is come into the system. You can import a list via CSV file.
Are you representing the registration desk well?
Yeah.
And once you actually go in and actually bring in a CSV file,
Yeah.
what you can do is you can actually go ahead and start to bring in. What we do is we go out and find every single person on that email marketing list and actually find all of their social profile data. So once we've done
That's what he showed me in December.
Exactly. So what we can do there is we can come in once we've done that, for instance. We can come in, for instance, and look at all the data around who's inside my CRM data.
Okay.
So for instance, this is an example for Virgin Airlines, and what we've done is we've gone out and indexed some of their members. We've got 14,000 people. We can tell you how many networks they belong to. So for instance, they belong to 4,388 networks. And what a network is, for instance, is the location. It could be the company they work for. It could be
Is that all
college.
Facebook?
This is Facebook in this particular one right here. We can also map across to things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Bebo,
I don't think
and
I hope
MySpace.
this isn't like kind of, inhibiting you at all. But I figured
No.
as long as I'm here looking at it, I like to.
Absolutely. So what we do is we break them down by networks. We also have the friends. So this 14,000 people have 2.3 million friends, and we can even tell you how many friends their friends have as well.
Okay.
And what's really interesting about this data
Sorry.
is we can start to go off and find, for instance, Chris right here lives in San Francisco. He has just under 300 friends. And what's really interesting is that 74 of Chris's friends are actually fans of Virgin, so they're also on the list.
I see. So
this 14,000 number, there's 74
is that
of
the
his friends.
74 affinity?
Yeah, well, 74 of his friends are connected to Virgin. So that means that Chris has a lot of friends that like Virgin, the brand, which is really important because you're starting to find these super connected people around certain brands.
Right.
So if you're going to go off and do a word of mouth marketing campaign, or you want to do some sort of special offers, it actually gives you key seeding points in which you're going to go ahead and launch your campaign to. A couple of other things that we can do for people that once you've actually brought in your CRM data, we can actually go ahead and actually search and find all the different things that your people like. So we can show you all the television shows, the music, the products, the celebrities, the places, not-for-profits.
Because they gave you that information in your Facebook profile.
That's right. They've opted in to becoming a fan of, for instance, House, or a fan of Michael Phelps, or they joined a specific type of a group, or the different things that make these people, come together. So if I was, for instance, Virgin, these are the places I might want to market and advertise. I might want to consider these celebrities as part of my ad. I might want to consider this music in the background or for the music on my airplanes.
Right.
Because this is the demographic that Virgin is focused on, which is really the 25 to 35 professional marketplace.
Does this work for anybody else in a brand? I mean, can an individual use it, like an entrepreneur, or can somebody use it that isn't a big brand and get value out of it?
Absolutely. Salespeople, this is a fantastic tool for understanding salespeople. We can go off and index individuals as well. So, for instance, this is an example of
Put me in there and
of
see
a
what
woman,
happens.
Susan Braden. These
I know her.
do take a little bit of time, so you're probably in this list somewhere. So Susan, we went off and indexed, and she has 3,000 at the time of the index. We did 3,029 friends. They belong to 1,045 networks. The number of friends that she has or the friends of hers is 687,000 people. And what's really interesting about this data is you've got, for instance, right here, you got Joseph, which is 2,400 friends.
Yeah, I know him. I just met him the other day again.
524 of his friends are also her friends.
Okay.
Which is really interesting, right? So we're finding these people that are very heavily connected with
I know
Susan
these
and her
people. I'm
network.
probably in there somewhere.
Yeah, you're probably in here. And other things that we have as well is, for instance, we've got LinkedIn profile data, we've got blog data. So, for instance, right here, I can click on, for instance, this person. It'll bring you straight to her LinkedIn profile. If I come over here, I can click on this, and it brings me straight over to her Facebook profile.
And it allows you to see them. I mean, even though
I just brought that up. We don't store the data; we're just linking them over to their actual.
So in other words,
data.
you can't. Can you always display this data or not?
Well, we display some information that's been collected, by publicly available. It's publicly available. It's opt-in information. Users have the ability to go ahead and actually determine what's available and what's not available. Where did Susan go? There we go.
Yeah.
So we've got all their blog information. So they've got personal blogs,
Yeah.
right? So we've got their LinkedIn, we've got their blog information. They're connected back to the original list numbers. We've got networks, so we can go in here and find out where Susan's friends live.
I see, and that's
Right.
because she's out there mostly.
Right, so San Francisco, we got New York, we've got Silicon Valley, which is the same as San Francisco, Los Angeles. We can tell you where all the colleges that her friends went to.
Okay.
We can tell you what companies they all currently work for. She's got 40 friends at Yahoo, 35 at Google. If you want to go ahead and see who these people are at Google, you can go ahead and drill into that information, and it'll actually load up and show you all the people that work for Google that she knows.
Okay.
And this is pretty interesting information. So, for instance, this person here has 615 friends, 109 are Susan's friends as well. So she actually knows this person really well. And her
Right.
friends know her really well.
Okay. And so this would be a person to contact for secondary. I know Chad Hurley. I know. I know he
Probably know a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Because it's in our market world, right?
Yeah.
Other things that are really interesting as well is when we start to view network information, we can also break it down by, Susan's in the marketing business, so we can tell you what agency she is actually connected to as well. These are all marketing agencies
Right.
you're probably familiar with. And government and consulting and so on and so forth. So we've got a lot of very interesting information about.
Can you show me the consulting and what's in those categories? What's in the consulting?
Sure. So consulting would be companies like KPMG,
Oh, okay.
Accenture, Deloitte, and Touche. So she only has one friend that actually works
I see.
For Deloitte. But we can go ahead and look at the networks of her friends, her friends of friends, right? So we can come over here and you'll probably see in the consulting area that we've got 287 people, and then Ernst & Young, she has 147. So this is the second degree away. That out of the 687,000, she's connected to 147 people at Ernst & Young, for instance.
Well, I mean, so how much does it cost to have access to this level of the product?
This particular list or this particular report would cost about $1,000.
Run once or all the time?
Just once. If you were to run an email marketing list, it would be $15 per 1,000 in your list. So if you have 1 million people in your email marketing
You don't just
list,
sell it to, let's say, a company and they just use it, I mean, is there that option too?
No, there isn't actually. If you have an email marketing list, we will let you enrich some of the data from our system into your email
Right.
marketing
Okay.
system, but we do not export the data as a rule here.
So you basically charge by the amount of data that people want to get, not so much by use of the product. Like, in other words, a brand would have to put 1 million in there. That would be not cheap change.
No, that's right. I mean, you're gonna find yourself, building these reports out. Brands that are interested, one of the things that you can do that I didn't point out is that you can actually not only is it filling a list in, for instance, but we can come over here, for instance, and do a search for a brand
Just
or a
a
product.
search, right?
Do a social
Wow.
search. So it's like Google of the social networking world.
And
And
what
what we
do
do
you
is
get?
we come back and we show you, for instance, there's 233,000 people that are fans of Adobe Photoshop. So if
Right.
you don't have a marketing list, we can go out and find those people. So that's really, so if we do a social search like this, it's $1,000 per report, up to 250,000 people in any given
Right.
report. And then if you do import a list with a CRM system, it's $15 per 1,000. It's pretty
Now,
straightforward.
let me ask you this. I mean, how many people are biting on this? I mean, do you find a lot of people are, buying this now?
Absolutely. Social media is extremely
I
hot.
mean, this particular.
Oh, this particular product?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Social media is extremely hot right now, and companies are always trying to figure out a way to be able to measure and understand what's actually happening in the social ecosystem around their particular
Yeah.
brand.
You know what I would say? I'm going to stop this now.